6:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Sounditavam. President Wickremesinghe calls for unified action to safeguard the Indian Ocean, addressing the 7th Indian Ocean Conference in Perth. The Western Australia Premier discusses renewable energy and agricultural development with President Wickremesinghe. New applications call for Aswasama allowance. The government has prepared an arrangement for purchasing paddy from farmers in the Maha season. 232 vendors to be charged for selling bread below standard weight. Imran Khan and Nawaz Sharif each claim advantage in Pakistan election. President Ranil Wickremesinghe delivered a speech at the 7th Indian Ocean Conference in Perth, focusing on the theme towards a stable and sustainable Indian Ocean. He highlighted the critical need for enhanced connectivity infrastructure to accommodate the project eightfold increase in the GDP of countries like India and Indonesia by 2050. Existing channels like the Suez Canal may not be adequate, necessitating new initiatives. India's proposed Mumbai-Iran-Russia and Mumbai-Middle East-Europe corridors, along with corridors in the Bay of Bengal, aim to address this demand. Additionally, plans for the Kra Land Bridge by Thailand and the feasibility studies for land connectivity between India and Sri Lanka underscore efforts to establish Sri Lanka as a regional logistics hub, facilitating trade with South India. President Wickremesinghe said the historical significance of Perth in Sri Lanka-Australia relations, particularly during the World War II, when Royal Canadian Air Force Catalina flying boats established a crucial air link between Perth and the Koggala Air Base in Ceylon, facilitating vital communication for the Allies. He emphasized the importance of the Indian Ocean, especially in light of historical events such as the Japanese attacks on Ceylon in 1942, when Winston Churchill described as a critical moment in the war. He discussed the multipolarity of the Indian Ocean region, shaped by events like the Bandung Conference in 1955 and the subsequent non-aligned movement which opposed big power rivalry. The Premier Roger Cook of Western Australia met with President Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday as part of the President's official itinerary in Perth for the Indian Ocean Conference. During the discussions, the Premier conveyed his state's keen interest in renewable energy and agricultural development, along with establishing direct aviation connections between Sri Lanka and Perth. He emphasized Perth's strategic location on the Indian Ocean as an opportunity for South Asian nations to foster closer ties with the broader Australian region. President Wickremesinghe highlighted Sri Lanka's ongoing efforts to develop its renewable energy sector while underscoring the country's vast potential in this area. Additionally, the President outlined Sri Lanka's modernization program in agriculture and extended an invitation to the Western Australian Premier to promote investment in this sector. The Social Welfare Board of the Finance Ministry is calling for new applications for the Aswasama Social Benefits Program from today to select 400,000 more beneficiaries. Accordingly, eligible persons can send their applications to be considered for the Aswasama Social Benefits Program. The Finance Ministry sources said that certain criteria for the selection of beneficiaries would be revised based on the suggestions made by various parties. The new Aswasama beneficiaries who are entitled to receive this allowance are to be selected within the first quarter of this year, and they will receive the allowance starting from April 1st. In line with this move, the government has taken the decision to increase the monthly allowances paid to disabled persons, kidney patients, and elderly citizens from January 2024. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Your next generation digital banking partner, People's Bank.
As per the decision of the Cabinet, the government has prepared an arrangement for purchasing of paddy from farmers in the 2023-2024 Maha season. Accordingly, it was decided to purchase paddy by providing loans to the three sectors of small and medium-scale paddy mill owners, paddy storage owners, and paddy collectors on a concessionary interest basis by public and private banks. In the implementation of the paddy purchase program by these three sectors, the said departments will purchase paddy under the minimum purchase prices for paddy presented by the Agriculture Department. Thus, the Agriculture Department has presented the minimum purchase prices for paddy for this paddy purchasing program, which is being implemented under the full supervision of the Finance Ministry. To purchase this paddy, the government is going to provide a maximum loan amount of 50 million rupees for small and medium-scale rice mill owners and a maximum loan amount of 25 million rupees for paddy storage owners and paddy cultivators through public and private banks. This loan scheme is to be implemented countrywide, and under this, only paddy harvests of the 2023-24 Maha season can be purchased. The Consumer Affairs Authority has decided to press charges against 232 bakery and shop owners who sold loaves of bread with below par weight and failed to display the prices. On February 2nd, the CAA published an extraordinary gazette stipulating a standard weight for a loaf of bread. Accordingly, the standard weight of a loaf of bread was set as 450 grams with an allowed deficiency of 13.5 grams, while a standard weight of 225 grams with a 9-gram deficiency was stipulated for half a loaf of bread. The Gazette mention noted that any type of bread manufactured, packed, stowed, offered for sale, displayed for sale or sold retail or wholesale should contain the standard weight specified in the Gazette Extraordinary. That concludes local news.
Enjoy seamless shopping. Open LCs, settle bills and transfer funds instantly, anywhere and anytime. With People's Bank Digital Solutions, you're empowered to do more whenever and wherever you want. Unlock a world of modern banking conveniences with People's Bank, your next generation digital banking partner. People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Member of Parliament Dr. Harsha De Silva has been reappointed as the chair to the Committee on Public Finance. The committee selection has nominated members of Parliament to serve in the Committee on Public Finance, and Dr. Harsha De Silva has been reappointed as the chair to the committee. The Honourable Speaker of Parliament announced to the House the members nominated to the Committee on Public Finance and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. The Sri Lanka police have added the names of 349 more wanted drug traffickers to the list containing the names of over 42,000 wanted criminal suspects, which was previously shared among all police stations across the island as part of the Yuktiya countrywide anti-drug operation. The police headquarters assured that the Yuktiya anti-drug operation, which was launched on 17 December 2023, will continue further across the island in order to arrest the drug traffickers and to crack down on the drug networks. That's Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Making headlines this morning, Imran Khan and Nawaz Sharif each claim advantage in Pakistan election. Netanyahu orders military to plan evacuations from Rafah. Uttarakhand on alert after 4 dead in clashes over mosque demolition. The jailed former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has claimed victory in Thursday's general election and called on his supporters to celebrate. Independent candidates linked to him have won most seats so far, with the majority of seats declared. But another ex-Prime Minister, Nawaz Sharif, says his party has emerged the largest and urged others to join him in coalition. No group or party appears on course to win an overall majority. In a staunch video message posted on X created using AI, Mr. Khan claimed his Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party had won a landslide victory despite what he has called a crackdown on his party. He is currently in jail, having been convicted in cases he says are politically motivated. The success of the PTI-linked candidates were unexpected, with most experts agreeing that Mr. Sharif, believed to be backed by the country's powerful military, was the clear favourite. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered the military to prepare an evacuation of civilians from the southern Gazan city of Rafah, ahead of an expanded offensive against Hamas. Some 1.5 million Palestinians are in Rafah to seek refuge from Israeli combat operations in the rest of Gaza. The US has warned Israel an invasion of Rafah would be a disaster, while the EU and the UN both expressed concern. Aid groups say it is not possible to evacuate everyone from the city. Mr. Netanyahu told military and security officials to submit to the cabinet a combined plan for evacuating the population and destroying the battalions of Hamas, his office said on Friday. At least 4 people have died in violence in a northern Indian state after authorities demolished a mosque, alleging it was constructed illegally. Violence broke out in Uttarakhand's Haldwani town during what police say was an anti-encroachment drive. Authorities said the drive was launched to clear illegal constructions, including the mosque and an adjoining madrasa. But Muslims who prayed at the mosque say they have been unfairly targeted. Hundreds of protesters and police personnel were injured in the clashes, which broke out on Thursday evening. Videos showed protesters setting fire to vehicles and pelting stones and the police firing tear gas at them. A curfew has been imposed and the state has issued shoot-at-sight orders to bring the situation under control. Back to the headlines. Imran Khan and Nawaz Sharif each claim advantage in Pakistan election. Netanyahu orders military to plan evacuations from Rafah. And Uttarakhand on alert after 4 dead in clashes over mosque demolition. That's world news, and on to development news. Power and Energy State Minister D.V. Chanakya announced a revenue generation of $3 million through the sale of 5,200 megawatts of fuel via the revived bunkering system for vessels. This signifies a significant step forward in stabilizing the country's energy finances. Chanakya emphasized the establishment of a $200 million buffer stock. This prudent measure demonstrates proactive planning to mitigate future economic fluctuations and ensure energy security. Acknowledging the past economic struggles, State Minister Chanakya referred the time when Sri Lanka faced fuel shortages and long queues. However, he highlighted the nation's gradual progress achieved through collective efforts. He commended everyone involved for their dedication, attributing the current stability in oil supply to their collaboration. That came to you in development news.
Moving on with sports news.
A hearing into allegations of inappropriate and controlling behavior against Christian Horner has finished without resolution. The Red Bull team boss was quizzed on Friday by a lawyer for several hours on charges that relate to his behavior towards a female employee. A spokesperson for Red Bull said it would not be appropriate to comment before the investigation is completed. Horner has denied the claims to Dutch newspaper De Telegraaf External. It is unclear whether the matter will be resolved before Red Bull's 2024 launch at their Milton Keynes factory on 15 February, where their new car is set to be unveiled. Red Bull are still planning for the event to go ahead. That came to you in sports news. We take a look at business news next.
Go ekatiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapuhina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship ekata menna.
The all-new NSB Itru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Microsoft has denied claims by US regulators that it went back on its word by cutting jobs after its purchase of Activision Blizzard, the biggest gaming deal in history. Microsoft Gaming announced 1,900 job cuts in January, 3 months after the $69 billion purchase was completed. The Federal Trade Commission says that contradicts Microsoft's previous representations, but Microsoft said the idea of job cuts did not originate with its takeover. That's business news. Economic news up next.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekatiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapuhina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship ekata menna.
The all-new NSB Itru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Global cocoa prices have hit a fresh record high as dry weather hurts crops in West Africa. Cocoa prices on the New York commodities market reached a new all-time high of $5,874 a ton on Thursday. The cost of the key ingredient for making chocolate has now roughly doubled since the start of last year. Soaring cocoa prices are already filtering through to consumers and squeezing major chocolate makers. On Thursday, one of the world's biggest chocolate manufacturers, Hershey, warned historic cocoa prices are expected to limit earnings growth this year. The company's chief executive, Michelle Buck, also did not rule out putting up prices for customers. That's economic news.
Weather report.
The Met Department says that mainly fair weather will prevail over the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central and Sabaragamuwa and western provinces, and also in Galle and Matara districts during the morning. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. President Wickremesinghe calls for unified action to safeguard the Indian Ocean, addressing the 7th Indian Ocean Conference in Perth. Western Australia Premier discusses renewable energy and agricultural development with President Wickremesinghe. New applications call for Aswasuma allowance. The government has prepared an arrangement for purchasing paddy from farmers in the Maha season. 232 vendors to be charged for selling bread below standard weight. And Imran Khan and Nawaz Sharif each claim advantage in Pakistan election. That concludes this morning's news broadcast, and it's now back to Sonal to keep you entertained this Saturday morning. All yours, Sonal.